So the red light's over here now.
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
All right,
how much I love change.
good evening, everybody. Sorry we're starting a little late tonight, a lot of end-of-year stuff, so we're going to call the public portion of the meeting to order again. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
All right. We just came out of a non-public session. I will entertain a motion regarding that.
I will move that the board just came out of non-public session under RSA 91-A:3, 2A and C, and that they keep all matters discussed confidential until, in the opinion of the majority of the board, the circumstances no longer apply except to provide the payroll administrator with necessary information for
Oh,
payroll.
I know what it is.
Yeah, we got that again.
Second.
Seconded by Mike. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's unanimous. Okay, first item, if I can get to that folder. My folder's dying. Is the, looks like a letter of non-opposition to a new private road. Anybody want to fill us in on this one?
Yeah, hold on. I just checked,
Sure.
making sure that we're out there on TV land.
Cool.
How about now? Okay, time out.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna read the letter while is
Sure,
that cool?
yeah.
Okay, so this is, the board has been asked to send the following letter to the State of New Hampshire Division of Emergency Services and Communication. It says, and we would need to vote to sign this, it says, the Board of Selectmen has no objection to the new private driveway road name of Goodwin Road, as well as the address assignment of 6 Goodwin Road for parcel 009-001-03-2, formerly 128 North Main Street, and 22 Goodwin Road for parcel 009-001-03-1, formerly 126A North Main Street. This new private road shall not be maintained by the town of Newton nor in the future. So it's really not a decision on our part as much as
We're just going to agree.
the state knows we don't have opposition to it. So,
I can do a little more explaining. if
yeah,
you'd
that'd be
like.
great.
So
I'm kind of filling time, you know what I
Okay,
mean?
yeah,
Like
thank
the-
you. All right. So basically, there are two pieces of property that share a driveway on North Main Street, and the driveway is in Newton, but the houses are actually in East Kingston.
Right.
So if they get a call, emergency gets a call from Newton, and they give the East Kingston address, we don't know where to go, and vice versa. So E911 would like to have one road, one address for both houses. So they determined the best thing would be to make that shared driveway a private road that the town will not maintain or repair. Never ever, as the road agent has told me, never ever will we maintain or repair that private road. So the owners were agreeable to that, and they decided on the name of Goodwin Road. And East Kingston is fine with it as well.
Awesome. So, any further discussion? Anybody have any questions? No? Does it-
Move to sign the letter to the New Hampshire Division of Emergency Services and Communications stating that the town does not have any objections to the new private driveway road named Goodwin Road.
Second.
Seconded by Charlie. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So we will, and that's for the entire board to sign. So we'll do that one later. So without any further ado, it's the highest rated portion of the evening, the ARPA EOC update. Good evening.
So you'll be happy to know that I did bring 27 pages of my wish list for Christmas. I'll start alphabetically.
Nice.
Okay, I'll make this hopefully painless. The ARPA work group discussed the community resource website, which you discussed at your last meeting. I think it was the 12th, perhaps. And you didn't want to move forward at this time. The group got that. We understand. It was decided that, you know, I would reach out to the vendor to see if there's any other options maybe down the road at some point in time. So we didn't want to close that, get that gate completely. Also, the work group met with the solar company. They did a presentation, and the bottom line is it's going to cost some upfront money, and we all know this is not the time of, this year especially, it's not the time to ask for more money. They did suggest, and people in TV land might appreciate this, that, and I think actually, Mike, you mentioned this many months ago, that they have the Inflation Reduction Act, it's called IRA. It's available, it's money for solar, it's for municipalities, but it also is for individual residences. So it is, if you have any questions, you can shoot me an email, give me a call. I can give you some more information and websites to go to, and they may be able to help you. So right now for us, financially, it didn't make sense. So it's not gone away, but it's over there. And then before we go through the requisitions, which I've got in order, I just wanted to give you a quick EOC update. Unfortunately, as you know, COVID has not gone away. In the last 14 days, we've got 15 new cases in Newton. That's an awful lot. The numbers are climbing. CDC says we probably have more cases because more and more people are doing the at-home tests and they're not sending in their results. So we know it's more than that. I can tell you personally, I know it's more than that, but this is what we've got right now. I'm going to remind you what CDC says, and again, it's kind of like a moving target, as you've known since the beginning. You know, it changes all the time. So the latest and greatest recommendations are, if you test positive, isolate and stay at home for at least 5 days. On day 6, if you have no symptoms and no fever-reducing medicines are being taken for at least 24 hours, you can leave isolation. However, you have to wear a mask for an additional 5 days. So I'm just tossing that out there. If anyone has any concerns or questions because you're going through something, give me a call. Obviously, everything you say is confidential. On another positive note, since we're talking about money, I've completed another grant for the EOC, and it will be submitted on Thursday. It is included in your spreadsheet if we end up talking about that spreadsheet. It's on the last tab that says grants, and it's for the message board. It's another $49,040.64. But the bottom line is we're not going to get that till 2023. So for those of us that are working on warrant articles, that one needs to not say those dates 2020 to 2022, because we do continue using that message board during emergencies, and if it's a federal emergency, they'll reimburse us. So that's a good thing. As a reminder, the message board money, you know it's going to show up as a warrant article for the Emergency Operations Center Expendable Trust Fund, and that's so that we can continue. For instance, right now, obviously my payroll's in a deficit. If we had this money in this expendable trust fund, the payroll or office supplies, paper, ink cartridges, whatever it might be, during an emergency could come out of that fund, so keep that in mind. And again, any questions, whether it's the selectmen or people in TV land, just reach out to me. For requisitions, I think if I do it as you've got it on your agenda, the first one is for the transfer station septic design. It's for $300, and that's the application fee for DES. So this is the beginning stages. I did bring the plan. I didn't know if you needed to see it. I know Charlie got a copy. You left it
I
here
have
too.
one in my car.
Okay, and I have one here. I don't know if you needed to see it, but this is the beginning stage for the septic design. And then,
Just to help out, Maureen,
yes.
we have to have that $300 check so that we can send the paperwork into the state for them to approve the septic. It's all
Right.
done, it's all, the design's all done, but the state wants $300.
I do have it. Again, I can give it to you. And I think Diane and I talked about this a little while ago. Also, Bob Leverone is aware of what's
Yeah,
going on.
He
so,
signed off on it already,
right,
Bob
we're
has.
kind of all on the same page for that. So because that's a requisition, I think what Diane is looking for is for you to look at it and perhaps discuss it and hopefully make a motion to approve it as recommended by the ARPA committee or ARPA work group.
Do you want to just do that now rather than waiting to
yeah,
the end?
So I'll move to sign requisition ARPA 2022-021 in the amount of $300 for the state DES application fee for the transfer station septic design, funds to come from the ARPA funds.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent.
Okay.
Trish, did you,
Yes.
just to let you know, did you know that the governor signed a letter with 25 other governors to end COVID-19?
Yeah, sometime in January. Yeah.
Yep.
I know. That's one of the reasons I wanted to get this last message board signed too. Although, well, you know, that's the governor. We've got two things going on, state and federal. Heaven help us if they actually all do the same thing at the same time, but we'll see.
God forbid.
Right, heaven.
And it's, as you said, it's 25 total governors, right?
Right.
So, of course,
Of course,
25 other governors that
of course.
won't get
Half
on
the
board.
governors.
I know.
So
Yes.
if that vote goes, when they vote and all that stuff, if the state doesn't recognize it any longer, but the federals do, you still get money, right?
Yes, we do. Because right now, even though there's no more state emergency, it is still a federal emergency, which is why we've been able to continue to operate.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Great question. Item B on your agenda is the Stryker stretcher power installation. This is the last piece of our puzzle for our power load for that awesome stretcher that we got for the ambulance at the fire station, and that installation figure is $1,900.
So I'm going to move to sign the requisition ARPA 2022-022 in the amount of $1,900 to install the power to the Stryker stretcher, funds to come from the ARPA fund.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. C on your agenda is the cybersecurity and server installation. The server installation is for the town hall. We've got cybersecurity that is really necessary for our safety, for the police and the fire and the town hall. It's a total of $15,610. It's a lot of money, but ARPA right now, one of the things they're saying is we want you to use, whenever possible, be forward-thinking, upgrade technology, and absolutely put cybersecurity into that mix, as you know. So this was crucial. I'm sorry it kind of came in the last couple of weeks, but we've dealt with it quite a bit in the last, I want to say 3 weeks with Diane, and this is really, really a must.
We were talking about upgrading the server here anyways, so it
Yes.
only makes sense. So I'm going to move to sign the requisition ARPA 2022-023 in the amount of $15,610 to upgrade cybersecurity on town-owned PC laptops and install new server at Town Hall. Funds to come from the ARPA fund.
Anybody want to second that?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mike. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I'm a no.
Okay. Do you want to share?
Or I think it should come out of the cable revolving fund. That's
Right,
why.
and I think we're just doing installation out of ARPA, correct?
That's
The
correct.
rest is coming out of cable revolving.
Correct. The rest
Oh,
will be
good, I
coming
should
out
have
of there.
explained that.
And the-
Okay.
In the cable revolving fund, I think we've talked about in this meeting before, is not accruing like it used to, right?
Right.
Right.
So the, looking forward, I think that's where, at least speaking for myself, that's where I was going with that.
Okay.
So the next one
is the waste oil heater for the Butler building. This includes installation, it's $15,500. And this will be fueled by the waste oil from the transfer station, so it's a great way to recycle what we've got going on. And hence, in the long money, it will save us money.
And then a question was asked earlier when we were discussing this, just so everybody out there in TV land knows, that if we don't have any waste oil at the transfer station, regular home heat and oil can be used in this same system. So it's not like it could end up going without, we could still service it with
Great
regular home
explanation.
heat and oil.
Great, thank you.
So I'm gonna move to sign the requisition.
Diane?
Yeah, so just to let people know too, is that the reason why this came up also is because the oil tank that supports that part of the building at the Butler building failed inspection. So, and trying to replace it is not feasible as well. So this will fix that problem as well as get
This-
oil delivered.
Yeah, and this actually will fix the road, the highway side of that building, not necessarily, and the chief can jump in if I'm explaining it wrong, not necessarily where we house the vehicles. That is fueled by the other oil tanks, so it's really two separate systems.
Yeah, but it'll fix one.
Right, we'll fix one.
Still
Okay.
have the other one to fix.
So I'll move to sign the requisition ARPA 2022-024 in the amount of $13,500 to install a new waste oil heater in the Butler building. Funds to come from the ARPA fund.
Yeah, anybody want a second?
I'll second for discussion.
Go ahead.
So what's the alternative to this if we don't go this route?
Would probably have, and again, Mike, if he was here, would probably tell you you'd have to put in a heating system. There is, right now, there's a very old system in there that it really is not efficient, it's not working correctly. So this is an upgrade to that.
If you went with a new system, what's the cost? Do we have estimates?
I don't. Is that something you want me to? Do you have, you wouldn't have any knowledge on that, do you, Chief?
I just have the knowledge on the tank.
Okay.
But I would imagine it's going to be much greater than a $15,000 bill.
Right. I would think so, especially where there's not, you'd have to run lines. I know we were talking about at one point, if the fill went to the other side of the, if the fill came in and we did a different kind of a furnace system, they'd have to have, I forget, how many feet of oil hose
Yeah.
to get around the building, and then we got to plow behind that building in order for them to get out there. And it would probably be incorporated into the replacement tanks of the one Diane just mentioned. So it would be way more than this. I don't know how much more. I mean, I can certainly do some more homework, or we can call Mike and see if he knows.
Bob, do you have any insight into this? Cost for something like that, like a heating system? Or Charlie, do you guys have any insights?
What's that?
Insights to the costs?
Yeah.
If we had to go and just redo the whole system?
I can't say not with the prices today.
The fire chief
Sorry, Chief.
is, got some,
The reason for the oil tank's in the middle. If you look at the Butler building, it's technically 3 sections.
Yep. Yep.
Section that is, you could say the highway, then there's the big middle section,
Yep.
and then there's the section in the rear the fire has. There's 2 heating systems in that building, so the middle is considered no man's land. So the tank that does the, you could say the highway side, is in the middle. The vent is inside the building. So that's why it didn't make it. So they would have to come in, move the tank, vent it outside the rear of the building, which probably wouldn't meet code because there's no way for them to drag the hose around. The way this unit was explained to myself, because we use that no man's land building, this would be able to heat up 3/4 of that building.
Okay.
So the section that's considered no man's land in the middle, that the Hummers go to, the election, the association, et cetera, this would be able to heat it up. So it's not just one section, it's about 3/4 of that building.
So I think
So it's upgrading the whole system.
I think what we should do is like, I don't have an issue with this concept-wise. I think it makes sense. I think just for due diligence, maybe we get some numbers to compare it against. But I said, I said something wrong. Hold on. Go
No,
ahead.
you said something right, but the issue is
Yeah.
that tank only
Yeah.
has an eighth of oil left.
Oh, okay.
We cannot fill it with the company that we are using. So that needs to be taken into consideration because it is winter out there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you want to do that, we can try to find another company that will fill it halfway or something, but again, you're on borrowed time, is what it boils down to.
Yeah, so again, just for discussion, I'm just,
Yep.
we can make a decision on that, but I didn't realize we were that low, so thank you on that. We get the oil from the transfer station. What's the cost to get it over?
I don't think there's a cost. I think they have the I think they just have the containers, they put it in, and do you need to?
Well, go ahead.
Joe Simone, the road agent said that he would take care of transferring it with one of his tanks to no cost to the town, and it was going to save the town from having to have someone come in and pull that out. So it's a
Right.
win-win for everybody environmentally. It's a good initiative.
Okay.
Thanks, Joe.
Cool. I don't have a problem voting on it tonight. I think we should just, for the record, maybe put an estimate next to it so people understand. And it's not just the cost of the new heating system either, right?
Well,
as we
this is the
discussed,
total
so-
for the waste oil heater.
Well, what I mean is.
For the other system, you mean?
If you're doing the due diligence of the comparison against what a whole new system would be, I think we're comfortable
Okay.
with this, but it would be nice to just have the numbers for the the record, so people, if they're flipping through the minutes, they'll
Yep.
understand why we did what we did.
I mean, if you want to put this,
We can get those numbers. We'll
Cool,
get
thank
that
you.
Put together for the,
okay,
yep, we'll take care of it.
okay, thank
But-
you.
So we do have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
You're a no?
Yeah.
And you want to share? Or-
The reason why?
Yeah.
Because all we should be doing is replacing the oil drums. That's all we should be doing. We should not use that waste oil, buy a new waste oil heater and put it up there. Mike Favero doesn't realize the liability that he's going to have when he picks up that tank and hauls it up the street to the fire station, and if he drops it. Are we going to take that liability?
You're talking about the.
About the insurance. But if
No,
we
I-
spill
back
500
up.
gallons of...
You're talking about the tank, as Joe said, when he.
Just replace the tank?
transports it, Or to replace the.
I'd just replace the tank, put a new tank in with a new vent.
So the issue with that one is there's no solution at this point to replace that tank because of its location. Then that's what drove kind of this, is the guy was there yesterday with me.
Diane, how many years has it been there and how many years has it been filled? They won't fill it because it doesn't have an outside vent. That's
Correct.
why. That's all. They do it to all the homeowners too. They make them put in outside vents.
Right.
So that when they're putting the oil in there, that the whistle keeps blowing until it's full. So that they don't overfill the tank. That's what it's about.
Yep.
So technically, put in a new tank, right where it is. They've been filling it for years. They'll fill it and put an outside vent.
And I believe that is part of,
Right, that was part of the
part
problem.
of the problem is they couldn't run the piping because there's a door there. So the tank, you come in through that green door, there's a little space, and then the tank is almost in the middle of that wall there. So to get the fill tank and something, there wasn't enough room between the door and the ceiling, I guess, or someplace. It was,
Right,
they were having trouble
There were
trying to figure out how to
issues,
do it, is what it boiled down
logistics.
to.
right.
But, I mean, we can look into that.
Motion's already passed.
Yeah, motion's
Okay.
passed. I think I speak for the board, and somebody can tell me if I don't, that we just want to make sure that all compliance is done in terms of what we need to do with permitting and whatnot, and what any homeowner would need to do, and we just want to make sure that insurance is consulted too, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. I think, did you have another one?
Yes, so the last one, E on your list,
Yep.
is the radio repeater installation. And this is $10,803.25. So we have everything that we need now for that repeater. The repeater is just waiting for this to be approved and the frequency to be given to us by the police chief, and then we'll be ready to move forward on this. So this was the last piece of that puzzle. And actually, I think it might have been you, Bob, when I sent over the invoices, remember I said the one that is actually the antenna piece, there was an installation on there. He's removed that.
Right.
And because this company is going to actually do that installation. So
So there was a discount on the
there was,
overall
there
price.
was.
Correct.
So you approved an invoice, I forget when, maybe August 8th, I can't remember. But it's going to be less than what you approved.
Yep. So I'll move to sign requisition ARPA 2022-025 in the amount of $10,803.25 for the installation of the radio repeater, funds to come from the ARPA fund.
Second.
Seconded by Charlie. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's it for me. Have a safe and happy holiday.
Thank you, Trish.
Okay.
You too.
Thanks.
Happy holidays.
Oh, but actually, you wanted,
Yeah.
we were going to do the list.
Yeah, the only,
Oh, well.
the only thing I was thinking kind of out loud is on the list is, so we do have a list, it's fluid, right?
Yes.
Of what we've committed to and what's kind of on the wish list. And there are things that have been on the wish list for a while, so we probably should, we don't have to do it here tonight, but we should probably think about putting action E next to each one.
Okay.
In other words, because if you want to put something on the wish list, you got to have a number, or it's
Right.
always going to be on the wish list unless you have a number.
Right.
So if you had, and because he's sitting there, I'll put him on the spot, but it's not really his action. But like, in other words, the fire chief is going to give us the number for
Something.
this part of the wish list. That's
Right.
the only thing I'd add.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have anything on the wish list. It's just an example. So I'm sure you could, but you don't currently. So,
Okay.
but otherwise, we should use that as kind of our running list,
Okay.
so people know. When we started this whole thing, right, it seemed like a ton of money.
Right.
But as we go along here, it's not.
Yep. And a good chunk of it, I mean, you see a lot of the stuff, I mean, the AEDs for all the town buildings, there's some big chunks of money which we sorted by highest to lowest. But there was an awful lot spent on cleaning and sanitizing.
Yeah.
There was a lot of money
Right.
spent there that unfortunately we had to do it at the time. And because this is very fluid, as things change, I'll update it and give it to all of you, Diane,
Right,
whoever,
right.
Mark,
Right.
Santa Claus, okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Trish.
Next. So this is the Cooperative Public Service Vehicle membership. We had put that on there a couple weeks ago or whatever to see if we wanted to
Keep it.
continue a membership, and I'm blanking on, there was another piece of information we needed prior. That's why we pushed it out, right?
Yes, you are correct, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
I think it's a $2,
$200 membership, yep. And it was trying to figure out which department was going to sign up for it
Yeah, yeah.
or renew.
Chair,
Good
for the
evening.
past several years, the fire department has been a member of Plymouth County Commissioners. The fire departments pay the $200 fee out of their budget. In my opinion, it shouldn't be under the fire department's name, it should be under the town of Newton's name, and it should fall, I shouldn't be the point person. It should be the town administrator who's the point person. That way, if any town department wants to use the bid process, And I just received an email a few weeks ago that I can forward it to the board. Any type of vehicle you want a Volkswagen, you want a Hyundai, you want a Chevy, you want a Ford, you name it, it's on the county bid now.
Yeah, I saw that there was a list of different dealerships depending on what type of vehicle you wanted.
Correct. It changed. Ours was for 2022. This is for, I believe, fiscal 2023.
Correct.
So that was the reason why it was sent to the Board of Selectmen.
I think we should probably stay as members, and I think out of the I forget what we call it, the executive town hall, there's a membership line item, right?
Yes, we can
Memberships.
cover it, and I totally concur through you, Mr. Chairman, with what you're saying and what the chief said. The administration should handle this as part of their procurement of services and goods that are provided by the county of Plymouth. Many cities and towns throughout the entire region of New England use this service, so I would encourage it going forward under the town administrator's or executive's budget.
Makes sense. Anybody want to?
So move to authorize
Town administrator.
the town administrator to renew the membership to the Plymouth County Commissioners Cooperative Public Service vehicle bid for calendar year 2023 in the amount of $200. Funds to come from the
Executive body.
executive body.
Second.
Seconded by Charlie. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that's unanimous. So,
Thank you.
lease for new server.
Okay, so that's me again.
Okay.
So I do have some figures for you for the server. As you heard, that ARPA's going to cover the installation costs for that. There is a 3-year lease agreement that we can go with, and it's, excuse me, it's, the entire cost for the product is $34,354.89. Over 3 years, you'd be paying 3 annual payments at $12,272.66. That will replace this system that we have here that's almost 6 years old.
So the paperwork we have here is not
Right, so
a
I think
different number, because does it still include the installation? Is that?
no, it does not.
Back that out. You back that out.
Yeah, that's out. So yeah, that does not include the installation. So the lease, he's still, the lease is just like your quote type thing
Right,
that they gave us.
right.
So the initial fund is going to come from the cable revolving fund?
The cable revolving fund will pay for this lease. There's so the $34,354.89 will be paid out of the cable revolving fund over 3 years.
Move to authorize the chairman to sign a 3-year lease agreement with HP Financials with a yearly payment of $12,272.66 to replace the server at Town Hall. Lease has an escape clause should funds not be appropriated, and funds are going to come from the cable revolving fund.
Second.
Seconded by Charlie. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So what you also have there is a statement of work. So we would need a motion on that so that they can,
Move to authorize the chairman to sign the statement of work for the installation of the server at the Town Hall.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Moving right along, it looks like we have the request from non-resident to clean up lot on Smith Corner Road, tax map 8-3-42.
That's the lot that I tried to get you guys to sell to the one of the relatives. And you wasn't in favor.
And he wasn't what?
And you weren't in favor.
Oh, okay. When did we do that?
2013, I think it was.
Oh, wow. I wasn't here, so I'm off the hook.
No, you were here, Matt.
in
It might have
2013.
been later. Might have been around
Was
15 or
later
16.
then, yeah.
2015, 2016.
Yeah,
I don't
okay,
remember the exact
yeah.
date,
Yeah,
but I had a buyer for it,
okay,
and you probably could still get that buyer back if you talked to him.
yeah.
But these are the people that own the lot, the one that's coming in. They're a relative of mine, but they were the previous owners. What they want to do is clean it up and have a memorial for their father and their mother.
Okay,
So they're willing to go down there and do all the work. They just want us to say, okay.
all right, so this is a interesting one. I don't think we've ever had one like this before,
Never had one.
but, yeah.
So
Mr.
what you
Chairman?
need to consider is your liability.
Yep,
Yep.
That's the key, for that the town, they'll be using power equipment. Tree falls on the neighbor's house, the town would be responsible. They get hurt, the town would be responsible. And they're using this for a private event. So, just some things that you need to consider.
Mark, before we go to Chris.
Mr. Chairman, just real quick, and it was a pleasant conversation. I spoke with the young lady, and you know, she had the greatest intentions, and I understand them. She did explain a number of items. I did mention the insurance matter to her because you're talking not just regular equipment, but you're talking chainsaws and heavier equipment. You're also talking about a bonfire of some sort. Don't know how big, to what extent, and I think also ice skating, which is probably the least of the situation, but there's a certain amount of liabilities involved because of the town's ownership of this land.
Well, the person that's probably going to be doing the cleanup there is going to be Peter Nicole. We all know him. And we know he's reputable.
Yep. Trish, did you want to add
The only thing I was going to say is, I saw this on the agenda and didn't know what lot it was. I called Diane and she explained it. So conservation, we haven't done a walk-by because I just saw this today. There are wetlands on that property, and we would just want to make sure that that's handled appropriately as well. And if it's Peter Nicole, I would trust him, but we would probably want to do a site walk and check it out.
Well,
Any way for them to sign off liability?
well, I was going to say, this is a Primex question.
Yeah.
If Primex says, if you're going to do it, do this, this, and this,
Right.
then that's cool with me, you know. Is that what we want to do, is find out? Because I think taking the liability issue out of it, I'm okay with this
Yep.
myself. I just want to make sure we do the due diligence to say, you know, if Primex says do X, Y, and Z, then we do X, Y, and Z. And I would assume they're not planning anything until they hear from us, right? It's not like they have a hard deadline.
That's correct,
Yeah,
Mr. Chairman.
yeah, cool. So do we want to do that, is find out
Yeah,
from
I can-
Primex
I
what
can-
they
Make a
recommend?
decision.
I can reach out to Primex and find out, I'll probably ask for some additional information from the individual so that we know what types of tools and
Yeah, right.
to the extent of the cleanup. And then I would imagine, Mr. Chief, if they're going to have a bonfire on public property, okay, you would probably want to be aware of that.
Yeah, don't put that.
You need some practice?
The fire chief says no problem. It's New Hampshire. So I was going to say, Trish, that conservation doesn't have to wait for anything, right? I would think, right? Like, because,
It's
like,
town property, so they have the right to
Exactly.
walk on it.
yeah. So you can, whenever it makes sense, I guess they can. Yeah. I don't know if you guys want to wait till it's a done deal, but I would just schedule it at your leisure. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, through you to the members, I'd like to get the information together, bring it back to the board for consideration and potential action, once we know a little bit more about it and what the insurance company indicates may or may not be issues.
Sounds good to me. All right, so we'll wait to hear more.
I would
Next
say that-
agenda.
The sooner the better.
Yeah.
Sure thing.
All right. Moving right along. Review proposed 2023 budgets. Somehow we made it through,
Well, kind of, sort of.
kind of, sort of.
So there were just 3 budgets that were changed. So if you go to your executive one, I think, oh no, yeah, go to your executive one.
Executive?
I'm in general executive one. I think I put your general government in the wrong one. Shoot. So if you go to executive and you see general government building proposed budget, under executive, I think that's, I might have mixed them up on you, sorry. That's gonna go.
Oh, excuse me.
Which line item?
So just look, are you, in your executive one, is it general government? Or is it on the sheet? Does it say general government or executive?
It says executive.
Oh, good, all right, so I only screwed up this one? That's good,
Sounds like it.
all right, excellent. All right, so under that, Mark has done some changes.
Yes, so basically, we reduced the number of lines in the executive budget that you have before you. And we needed to adjust the salary for the administrative assistant to the Board of Selectmen at a new number. Diane, I don't
Yep.
know that I have that.
Okay, well, okay, so the new number is $168,545. So it's a difference of $8,200 between the 2022 and the 23.
Okay.
So that was the only change to that budget.
Since the only change since we last looked at it?
Correct.
Right,
Yes, which was on December 6th.
right.
So I'll move to accept the proposed updated.
Joe's coming up.
For the sake of transparency, would you explain to the people out there what that $82,000 difference is, please?
82, it's
8,200.
8,200.
200,
Yeah,
yeah.
that would be, I would want to know the answer to that. Yeah,
I might want to apply.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
go ahead, yeah.
Thank you. So, Mr. Simone, this is a difference between what we have as a hourly employee versus a salaried employee that we're advertising for the current position. No, that's okay.
What was the Nevermind woman on
Yeah, Joe
Saturday
thought we
Night
were
Live?
pushing close to 6 digits. So I'll move to accept the proposed updated budget for the 2023 for the executive budget for inclusion in the proposed 2023 town operating budget.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
What's that? Go ahead. That was unanimous, by the way. Get that.
As a side note, I'd like to see if we can add a little funding in there to replace the chairs downstairs. in the selectmen's office.
Mr. Chairman, I explained to Mr. Simone, I've
Might
been
wanna
working on
second
this.
that one.
You know, so we'll come up with a plan for that. I appreciate his active interest in making sure the chairs are in good shape.
I'm not so sure we want to be so comfortable down there, you know what I mean? Yeah, true. But that makes sense.
Okay, so the next change is the general building government? General government buildings, sorry.
General government buildings, okay?
Got it.
So the changes there, we had to add more to the repairs and maintenance because last time you wanted to do the floor stripping at both the fire and the police. So I added that difference in there. for that. And we also added in extra oil for the Butler building. We didn't realize when we did this that the road agent was paying for the highway department oil out of his own pocket. So now we're paying for it. So it's about an extra 1,000 gallons. So that got added into the oil. That's the only two changes to that budget.
Okay.
Move to accept the proposed updated 2023 general government building budget for inclusion in the proposed 2023 town operating budget.
Do you have a-
Second for discussion.
Second?
Okay, so Joe just said back there, the difference in the oil price, right? Since we last saw it,
Yep.
because you had told us what the difference was for the,
So,
yeah,
$3.99.
yeah, so last time we had estimated it, when we first proposed, it was 29,500. So if you add 1,000 gallons at $3.98, it came out to another $4,000 basically.
yeah, there you go.
And not to mention now that we're putting the
Waste oil, it might even
waste
be
oil,
less.
it should be cheaper.
Right. So, but when I made this, we didn't, we didn't
Right.
count on that. So we needed to
But that
adjust.
extra 1,000, the current supplier is willing to add that to the contract?
I'm sorry, what?
The extra 1,000 gallons? And I forget which vendor we went with.
Hafner's?
Hafner's.
Okay, Hafner's. They're willing to add that to the
I
contract
talked
at
to
the
them,
price?
yes. When I
Okay.
found out about this, I said, oh, yes, I
Yep.
did that.
Okay, just want to make sure we're...
Yeah, yep, they were good with it.
Just quick, I know Diane brought up that the road agent was taking care of the oil on the highway side. I believe he said he's been taking care of the oil on the other side too, that heats up the side that the fire department's been using. So if I understood him correctly, the town has been paying for oil for that Butler building for a few years now.
Sounds like it.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, he's using it for his own personal business.
What?
He's using it for his own personal business. He's working on his vehicles there. So he should be paying for it.
Right, for town usage, right?
No, he fixes his own vehicles there as well as other people's, from my understanding.
For your okay. I'm not even touching it tonight. I'm just,
Move on.
we're moving on. What's next? Another one?
You
Was there
need
another?
to vote on that one?
Yep. Oh,
Oh,
I second.
didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you need to
No, we-
vote.
we didn't vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No,
Okay. 3 and 1. Was there another budget?
Yeah, the fire one.
Oh, that's a definite no.
Yeah.
So on the fire one, if you go, the first sheet is his proposed. We're not going to do that just yet, but flip over and you'll see the first one is his default. Okay, the second set is the proposed budget. So I think he needed to add in internet service that provides his phones, his internet access, and basic TV. So he didn't have that in there in his original proposed budget. So he added that in at $5,160. And he lowered the other expenses facility from 5,000 to 3,000.
Where's facility? I don't...
Just for the record, the reason it was not added, it was never in my, it's new. It was never in my 2022, 2021, so on and so on. That's why we never added it in. But we are working with the EOC because we've lowered the cost already for the cable, and we're working together on probably 75% fire, 25% for the EOC for the cost. So we are working on it, but we did drop what the town, not the town, cable revolving account. The cable revolving account was paying for cable. We did away with the cable boxes, which saved us, I believe, 500
Yeah,
or
saved you
so
quite a bit of money, yep.
a year.
Yeah.
So we are trying to drop it down. But that's the reason it was not included into the budget, and I don't believe I included it into the default budget.
No, because we talked about that, because you can't.
Yeah, because we never had it.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So that's it for, that I have for updated budgets.
Do you want
So let's do this one. Move to accept the proposed updated budget for the fire department for inclusion in the proposed 2023 town operating budget.
Second.
to, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
So it's up to you if you want to continue and look at the proposed, or, I mean, I put in some numbers, but I have the fire departments now in there, the executive is in there, highway. I don't have the police at this point,
You're talking about the default,
the default,
you
yeah.
said the proposed, yeah.
I'm sorry,
So,
I keep mixing those up.
so I would just assume look at them when we have all of them, and I think we found out earlier tonight their deadline is actually end of this week, right? So,
Yep,
everybody
Okay.
okay with that?
Yeah, I'd rather see them all together.
so we're done with that. All right, good.
And it's, it's worth saying too, you know, obviously a lot of people's hard work goes into this thing, but our bookkeeper, her last official day, I believe, is this week, right?
Is next, the 29th.
Oh, forget it then. No, I'm just kidding. So it's, so it's next week, so this will be our last meeting before she leaves. She's not here, but I'm sure she's watching nothing else tonight but this meeting. And we should, you know, I think we did it earlier, but we thank her for all she's done for the town, because she's certainly got a lot of knowledge, and we've relied on her for many years in this subject area, and she's done a lot of work to help the town. She's still doing it until she leaves, and she will be missed, but she'll still be around town. So just wanted to get that in the minutes for tonight, so.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, also, I'd just like to put my oar in the water as well. Working with her has been extraordinary experience, and very helpful to me, both professionally and to the departments.
Good. Definitely. Great. All right, so moving right along, the meeting schedule for next year. And I think we're going to have, we've planned it, we're going to just not have any meetings next year. That's good.
Good luck
All
with
in
that.
favor?
I'll second that.
It never works.
Yeah.
It's worth a try.
So it's basically the same schedule, just Monday and Tuesday with some extra meetings for like your public hearing in January and your deliberative session in February.
Yep. And then the election day
Yeah,
quorum that we'll need.
So it's, it's a case of lock and load, right? So if we're okay with it, you're going to go with it? Can lock it in on the calendar.
up to you guys.
Move to accept the proposed 2023 Board of Selectmen meeting schedule.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, mark your calendars. I'm glad we're giving ourselves the holiday of July 4th. I just noticed that it happens to be,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, so now the tax ratio study. All right.
That's a study that the assessor does every year, and I couldn't figure how to explain it other than that.
Move to sign the tax ratio study dated December 20th, 2022.
Anybody want a second?
I'll second it.
And let me just pull this up. Any discussion? So, just so I can read the last page of what we're signing here. We, the undersigned, do hereby certify that the assessment and sales information provided by us on the NH Mosaic equalization system has been thoroughly reviewed by this board and is complete and accurate to the best of our knowledge. You know, all the signatures here. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Was that everybody?
Yep.
Charlie, you good?
Yeah.
with that? Okay, cool. All right, next. Food pantry donations.
So you have 3 of those.
We're gonna move to, per RSA 31:95-B, to accept and expend unanticipated funds for the food pantry in the amount of $215 from the Recreation Commission proceeds from the trunk or treat, with thanks.
Second.
Didn't we already do this one?
I thought we did this.
Yeah,
I thought we did too, but
yeah. Sounds familiar.
I thought so, but she gave it to me, so I said, okay.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to, friendly amendment, we approve it as long as this is not a duplicate.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next one, Tom?
Move per RSA 31:95-B to accept and expend unanticipated funds in the amount of $500 for the food pantry from an anonymous donor, with thanks.
second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And then we'll move per RSA 31:95-B to accept and expend unanticipated funds in the amount of $500 for the food pantry from Esther Brooks Garage, with thanks.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes, and thank everybody. I think I said it last time, this year especially, all this stuff is sorely needed, right?
Yes.
So thank you to all those folks. Next
So I think the recreation one was from your, was $1,848.
So that 1,800 would have been Old Home Day, so this
Yeah.
one was Halloween?
Yeah,
Okay.
I
so
think
we're
that's what the difference was.
we're in good shape.
Yeah.
Okay.
Treat, right? Trunk or treat.
Yes, Halloween trunk, yeah,
Yeah, the other one
that's what
was,
that
the
one
other
was.
one was from Old Home Day.
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
All right, encumbrance of funds.
So for those of you that don't have it, this was new, had to be added, last minute type of things.
What's the file name on this one?
Move to encumber $3,172.84 to come out of the 2022 Fire Department budget to pay the radio for the Tahoe, provided the funds are available at year end.
Second.
Chief, you're looking confused? Okay. We do have a second, so this is for discussion.
Good evening. I could have missed something. I thought we actually need 2 radios. Just for the record, the 5 communities this afternoon was informed that Newton, East Kingston, Kensington, Southampton, and Brentwood, the grant that we were told, a regional grant, we were gonna, looked very promising. All 5 of us received our denial letters today. Unfortunately, that was, the Tahoe actually needed 2 radios. So that was 1 radio. The second radio, we were holding off to come out of through the grant. So I would respectfully ask if that could be amended to purchase 2 radios. And the price, I think you said $3,100, it'd be $6,200 if there's funds in the budget remaining in the fiscal 2022. Like I said, I know it's short notice. We got that email and Texas started going off with all the fire chiefs because everybody did the same thing. We were all told, if you haven't received your denial letter, plan on the funds. It's coming. So that's why when that requisition came in, I only did 1. That's why.
So we're gonna put the 2 radios in out of your funds, and then when
Well, if this,
the grant comes in, then we're gonna...
there is no grant.
There
No,
is
it's
no
denied.
Okay.
It's
It
off the
was
table.
denied?
Correct.
Okay.
If we have funds remaining in the fire department budget, and I talked to the bookkeeper today, there should be funds remaining in the fire department budget to probably purchase 6 of those. But there should be funds in there to purchase those 2 radios out of the 2022 budget.
Okay, so if we're gonna do that, are we doubling up on that figure?
Yes, the only thing you will be removing from that figure would be the antennas, say $200 from that figure.
So instead of 62.6,
Instead of 31, I think that's 31, it'd be say 6,000.
6 grand.
31,702
Well, that's what I was saying, 6,200 minus the 2. Right, yeah, okay.
times
Why do
2.
we need 2?
Because the way the area operates, every fire and every scene, you operate in 2 frequencies. You have to remain on rock, which is the primary frequency, and then rock puts you to a secondary channel. So the reason for the 2 radios. If you look at the fire trucks, I'm gonna say 90% of those fire trucks down there have 2 radios, and all the vehicles have 2 radios in it. It's either 1 radio and a portable, and as you know, the portables do not work. That's the reason for the 2 radios.
So I'm deducting $200.
Yes, sir.
So I have a price, it should be 6,000.
6145.68.
Yep, that's what it should be.
So I am going to move to amend what I said, and we're going to move to encumber $6,145.68 to come out of the 2022 Fire Department budget to pay for the 2 radios for the Tahoe, provided the funds are available at year end.
I'm going to second that for discussion. Now, is that installation as well, or do
It
we
is.
have to pay more installation? That's installation as well, so there won't be no more.
That's for the Tahoe.
So,
Definitely. The grant was for 1 radio to start replacing some of these old radios that are about 20 years old and the 20-year-old portables. So we're gonna have to work with 2023 budget, no matter if it's default or not, and start piecemealing. But the 5 communities talked today, we might try again for the 2022 grant to try to get, because we're all in the same boat. Everybody received the radios, I think, '04, when those radios were issued out to every single community in the state of New Hampshire, police and fire, and they were obsolete back then.
so just something, sorry, Mark, something to keep in mind, you've done this before, is there's very specific paperwork we need for an encumbrance, right? So we need to make sure we get all of that in. It's not like a regular requisition we need, right? Correct?
You are correct, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, go ahead,
And the encumbrance process is a normal process that
Yeah.
should be followed, and the chief is following it, and I support it.
Yeah.
Just to follow also, the expense report, just watch the rest of the year, chief, has about $18,770 left in his line, so we can cover this expense. The only question that I would have for the chief, because I think this goes hand in glove with good grantsmanship, is can we find out why we were not grant funded here? And if we weren't grant funded, what do we have to do next time to get the money?
We are waiting for that notification.
Please include me in the process, and I'd be happy to help.
It actually went to the previous town administrator's email address.
I saw that.
But you get your, you could say your denial letter, then once it's all gone, then they'll send out the reason
Sure,
why.
I understand.
And I can tell you, since we've been doing this, I've never seen a regional grant fail, other than when they run out of money.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, that could be, the case, but I think we want to know why, so
Right.
we can
Yeah, absolutely.
sharpen the pencil next time around to get the grant.
Yeah, absolutely. With that said, do we have to encumber the funds if there's funds in the 2022 budget?
Well, that's a good question, because if you have the funds and you can get it delivered now, right?
I can have an invoice tomorrow morning.
Mr. Chairman, if I might,
Yeah, go ahead.
That's possible.
through you to the members, the encumbrance tells the bookkeeper that the money is being set aside for that amount. The rest of the money will revert back. So I think the encumbrance is a good process, and I would ask you to support the amended motion.
Whatever the experts say, so.
The other thing to note too is that the last manifest is done tonight, so anything now would be come out of your 2023. So you definitely need to encumber it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Cool,
Consider it
so,
done. And
so we
that was
have-
on state bid, by the way.
How much money's left over after this?
As the report as of today, without the extra radio, I'm seeing $18,770.50.
so Chief, you have until like midnight, you can just,
So does that include
outta
the
here
first
and
radio
just, you know.
or neither radio?
It includes the first radio because that's the
So
premise
he's
we're
down to
working off of.
15 grand.
Exactly, Selectman.
Do you plan on spending that other 15 grand?
Well, I would love to, but the answer's going to be no.
Okay.
So just remember what I just said. That's what's left, right?
yeah.
So
and
anything that he spends now goes towards 23,
That's what will be left.
unless you encumber it tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. So are we still up for discussion here? Are we?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So does it make sense, since he's got to replace future radios, that we tuck another radio underneath that, so it doesn't hit his 2023 budget?
You'd make me a happy camper.
That's not what I'm trying to do, I'm just asking. But if that's going to sit and not go anywhere, is now the time to think about that so that it is,
Well, actually, you wouldn't make me, you'd make one of the lieutenants a happy camper.
is that a possibility?
I don't see why not if the funds are there.
The funds are there.
The funds are there, but if you don't have the paperwork right now, you can't encumber the funds.
Yeah.
You don't have anything to back up that encumbrance. You need that paperwork.
Yeah, because when is the manifest processed officially?
Say that again?
So this is our last one for the year.
Tonight.
Yeah.
Right, tonight, but it doesn't get put in until tomorrow at a certain time? Or we're drawing the line at the end of the meeting
No,
tonight, is what you're
When
saying?
when you make that motion, that's the
Yeah.
end of that manifest.
Okay, all right. So yeah, we have the paperwork for the two. We
Well,
don't
you
have,
actually only have the paperwork for one.
One,
But we've amended it.
You have the paperwork for one. Now, are they the exact same thing?
Exact same thing.
So you're going to change the quantity to 2?
Yeah.
well, we could change the quantity to
But
3.
then, do you need
Well-
3 of the same kind?
I'm sorry?
Do you need 3 of the same kind of radio?
Well,
The
I'm
radio
going to
that,
say yes. I'm going to say yes to that question.
okay,
And the reason for that was the original plan, like I said, we were banking on a grant that we were told we were going to get.
yeah,
Okay?
all right.
That's why for 2023, we didn't even increase our radio budget because we were planning on a grant. I understand it's last minute, like I said, I'm not FEMA. FEMA's the one that sent us
Yeah.
the email, which you know,
Yes, I know.
this afternoon, which
All
that
right,
was a
but
bombshell.
but those, they're looking to buy you 3 now, 3 of the same thing. Can 3 of the same thing be used?
You have two in the
Can't change
Tahoe.
it, that's the
Oh,
problem.
I get what you, okay.
Take what we're giving you, add the third, but it has to be identical and replace something.
It's a,
Just do the two.
It's just two. Okay.
Because if it could be done, I would do portables, but we can't do portables.
Okay.
I don't have quotes on portables.
Trying to get creative
To
for
be
you.
fair,
Yep,
and to be honest, the two.
I appreciate that.
so we have a motion, we have a second.
Second,
The motion was specific about the
two.
two, right?
yeah.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Change the
That was
paperwork real quick.
unanimous. No. Okay, so we got to talk about public hearings for some of the money we have coming in, right? In scheduling.
The three that we're encumbering,
Yeah, so, so I guess this is an overall calendar discussion, right? Because we have the normal public hearing for the warrant, which is Monday, the 16th, I believe.
Yes, you are correct, Mr. Chairman.
So, and then normally what happens is we have a meeting scheduled on the 17th, but sometimes if we can squeeze everything into the 16th, we don't need the 17th. So so the first meeting of the year is the 3rd, then we have the 17th, and then we have February, whatever that may be. I don't have a calendar in front of me. So all I'm saying is I'm wondering if we want to do it the first February meeting, have the two public hearings at the top of the meeting.
that would be February 6th.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, February 7th is the first Tuesday of the month.
Is that what we want to shoot for? I would assume these are, the public hearings that last like 5 minutes for each one, because most people aren't going to argue about money coming
Money
in.
coming in, well, it's not free.
Yeah.
Said it again, it's money
Right.
coming in.
Well, actually, here's the key thing, and I'm killing time until Diane's done over. Because I think it's all about the newspaper, right? So.
Yeah, having to get it
yeah.
out there in plenty
I'm
of
sorry,
time.
what was,
Thank you for your time,
So,
Chief.
thank you. So the public hearings, how much lead time do we need?
you need at least 2 weeks. So we still have time to put it in if you wanted to. You have a public hearing for the budgets and the warrant articles on January 16th, I believe. We could do it before then. I mean, you could do it that day at an earlier time.
If you can do it beforehand, that'd be great.
The 16th is a Monday.
Correct.
Yep.
The reason why you're doing it on the 16th is if it snows, you have the 17th to complete it.
Would we want to just do it February 6th because there is so much to chew on in that hearing with the budget and the warrant articles on the 16th? Do we really want to add anything on at the beginning? What time is that at? 6 o'clock?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. So, okay, I see what you're saying. So if we were to have 6
You can do it
o'clock
February
public.
6th. I'm just giving you the option. That's
Yeah, I know, exactly.
you know.
But if we were to start
At
a
6.
meeting at 6, we do 2 of the grant public hearings, and then we can do regular business until the clock hits 7, and then we do our,
That works for me.
yeah. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right.
Charlie?
Yeah,
Mike?
It does. So I will not be in attendance.
For that meeting? Oh, yeah, you're going to be at the Hockey King? Yeah.
So 16th, 17th, whatever that date is.
The 16th is Martin Luther King Day, which is a Monday.
So I'll be out of town from the 12th to the 17th. So we do it in those dates.
So you'll be here for the 16th?
16th,
No.
That's what, when are you out of town?
The problem is you can't change that
Two to-
16th.
Yeah, that's,
Through to the
that's,
17th.
yeah, that is what it is, the 16th. That's already officially official. So, yeah, I think everybody's in agreement. So we'll have these hearings at 6. and then do some business.
But on the 16th of January,
Yeah, yeah.
by Martin Luther King's,
Correct.
It's in New Hampshire, that's not
That's
one
true.
of the
It's not a
holidays.
holiday.
Yeah.
So you can be via Zoom, right? Maybe?
if he doesn't make the championship game, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I'll bring my stuff with me and we'll see.
Okay.
We're of course hoping for a championship.
He
We don't want it to be our
If it is this way, I'll
fault.
probably be dialing in, okay?
Right.
All right, so you want to do the 16th for those two?
At 6 PM?
Yeah.
Okay,
And then, so you do like 6 and then 6:15, right? Yeah.
yeah.
So that would be great. All right. All right, M, review any parking lot items?
So I did put per Joe's recommendation, I put out there for you the goals that you had once set many, many moons ago.
Trying to pull this up. Hold on. What's the,
Attend the budget workshop. We all did that.
what's the file name on this? I don't see it.
It's parking lot for ideas.
That would only make sense. I don't see it though.
I'm pretty sure it's out there for you.
Yeah, I don't see it.
We are working on the development strategy for the future town buildings that's being incorporated into the CIP. We need to work on hosting those meetings with the,
Matt?
Yep.
It's in the top level folder on the SharePoint.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah, because it's not unique to just
Yeah.
one meeting.
that's- Okay.
Yep.
What happened to that?
and I did hold a meeting, and I am not gonna say that no residents attended, because my wife did attend with my granddaughter in support. Otherwise, I would have been a very lonely man here that day.
I don't know if that counts. They were here just for the donuts.
No, actually, there was one other resident that popped in,
Oh, okay.
but
So-
that was it.
So I think the, the two things that I see on here we did not get to is quarterly meetings with the department heads and selectmen, so quarterly department head meetings.
Yeah, we definitely need to work on that.
We should continue that as a goal. And it's the reach out to residents and ask them what they want. So that's kind of like I think that was meant to be part of
My meeting.
your meeting, to give them the opportunity.
Yeah,
Yeah, so,
So you want me to take that one out?
well, I think it kind of goes as a second sentence in that block.
All right.
So you're going to try again, right?
yep. Try again after the holidays.
And I mean, my suggestion for the quarterly meetings would be probably, sometime at the end of February, I think, would be, we should do the first one. I'm just throwing a date out there. But we do have, obviously, if 3 of us attend, that's a quorum, so that's an advertised meeting. So I'm
Well, it's-
open to ideas as to how we do that, because I'm sure, we make the department heads come to these meetings at night. Do we want to do those towards the end of the afternoon instead? So,
Well, according to the goal, it was just one selectman with the department head.
okay, that's, I'm remembering now, yeah. So, I would be interested to find out from the department heads when that best makes sense. Our are Mondays busy, or Tuesdays easier, you know, something like that. But, and then we can rotate, you know, who attends as the select board member. Thoughts on
We
that?
could ask them, right? We could ask the department head.
Yeah, I guess, yep.
Mr. Chairman, we could ask the department heads what, you know, what fits schedule and take it from there.
That works. And then kind of once we have a rough date, we can find out which one of us wants to go to the first one, so.
Well, don't forget, Matt, on January 17th, we have a public hearing with the DOT on Rose Corner intersection.
Just a correction, it's the 19th. It's
The 19th?
19th, yeah.
It
It's a
was, I thought
Thursday,
it was
yeah.
17th.
Because in case we had a snow day for the public hearing, so the
Okay.
19th.
Well, 19th then, just
Yeah,
let you
so
know.
stay away from, yeah. That makes sense. All right. All right, so that was that one. Other business?
Mr. Chairman, if I could, just an update on the warrant, the draft warrants. Diane has been working very closely with myself and town council. We had a conversation this afternoon. There were 18 current warrant articles. Some of them are housekeeping, the usual ones that go on, and some new ones. So we will pull that together and get that to you in the next couple of days.
Cool, thank you.
Yep.
Trish?
Hopefully this isn't going to be an issue. Back in June, you remember me talking about the Twin Culvert Grant that we applied for. And the deadline for so our letter of intent was submitted, and Matt, you were listed, and I think I sent it to you at that time, as a signatory if we needed a signature. They wanted somebody that, you know, not the road agent, not me, not the town administrator, but an authoritative person to sign. So you were on that. Today, we got the final document, the final application, and they would like it submitted by the 31st of this month. So I'm finishing that up. Mike and I are finalizing a few things. It'll be done probably next week. There's a few things Mike's got to do, but he can't do it tomorrow. So we'll catch up. But my thing is, I don't know if we need to ask you to vote. Or did we already do it in June, that when I send this to you, that you actually can sign it so I can get it in by December 31st. And this is the one for $515,500 for twin culverts on Country Pond. Country Pond.
Wilders
I mean, Wilders Grove, sorry. Yeah, Wilders Grove.
And how much was it for?
$515,500.
When is that due?
So it's due December 31st.
Okay.
This is just the application, and they'll review and get back to us between February and March of next year.
Is that an e-sign thing?
Yes, I can do an e-sign. Yep,
Yeah, because I will be out of pocket starting tomorrow morning.
yep, e-sign is easy.
I can definitely do an e-sign.
Okay, so I just wanted to toss that out there. I don't know if you needed to vote. I think we already voted on this last time I presented, but I didn't check in minutes of any meeting to make sure.
I think we probably did. I don't know if we want to do it again.
I'll leave it up to you. It's the MPG grant.
I'll make a motion to allow the chairman to sign said paperwork for culverts
Twin
on
culvert.
Wilders Grove. When
Perfect.
paperwork is completed, by Trish McCarthy.
Just make sure the word grant is in there.
Yes, this is a
Did I
grant.
say grant?
No.
I'm sure I heard that.
Yeah.
I thought I said it in there somewhere.
Anybody want to second that one?
I'll second it and just add that as long as it wasn't already done, as long as we didn't already
yeah.
previously,
I'll check that.
Yeah.
Okay,
that is in that original override.
okay,
All right.
thank you.
All in favor? Aye. Is that everybody?
Yep.
John?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
I'm all about free money.
It's not free.
Without further ado, Joe.
Good evening.
Free.
Just a couple things as an update. I see there's a lot of boxes over here, so I assume the document retention program is moving forward.
Yeah, I think we're waiting on a couple more
quotations.
quotes for the destruction, but yeah.
Awesome. How about the, are we okay with storage space and everything? What we
Seems
have?
like we are.
There's plenty of room. You can hold a square dance if you'd like to.
Only if we can't have 49 people in here.
How many for a square dance?
Awesome. The other thing that a lot of residents have been asking me is to what will happen with the vacancies downstairs coming the first of the year, and what is the plan that the selectmen have in place?
Do you want to take that, Mark?
Surely, Mr. Chairman, through you to the members and to Mr. Simone. We have a stopgap program for both the finance specialist, which is being filled by through municipal resources. We talked about this, I think, at the last meeting. And we are currently advertising for administrative assistant for the Board of Selectmen. We have nine to 10 resumes that have come in, so we're going to be taking a good look at them, Joe, over the next couple of weeks, and keep the board posted as well as you.
I appreciate that. I'm sure the residents appreciate that, but the question I have is, what about the Board of Selectmen Administrative Assistant current? Who's going to be doing that while you're looking at these people?
Say that again?
Who is going to be fulfilling the role of Diane's role while you're looking at these people?
So, in other words, when the phone rings, who's
going to be sitting in
going
an
to
office?
answer the phone? Can we share that?
Yes.
That's one of the key things
yeah.
the residents have been asking me.
Yeah,
Who's
exactly.
going to be there?
So
What's the plan for that?
if we're okay to share, then please
Yes.
do so.
So we worked out a memorandum of understanding with Diane to stay on board for a specified period of time. So it should be handled very professionally going forward, because you're not going to find a better professional than Diane.
That's what the residents wanted to hear, and I'm glad you said it and didn't have to pull it out of you, so thank you.
No,
Thank you.
that's fine, Joe.
So I have another job?
Yeah.
You do.
So Diane,
They want.
so we will have Diane to kick around for a while longer.
Yep.
She's been very nice of her to kind of delay things a little bit for the town. But as Mark said, we do have resumes, so we're hoping it's going to be kind of a clean overlap to help the town out. But we appreciate Diane being so willing to help out the town in this time of need. So that's pretty awesome. All right, does anybody want to do the manifest?
Oh, you want to do the
All that
I don't
good
have it. I don't have it.
You don't have them, Charlie?
He's got it.
Okay.
Okay, move to sign vendor manifest dated December 20th, 2022, in the amount of $144,110.89.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Move to sign the cable revolving fund dated December 20th, 2022, in the amount of $207.98.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Move to sign the police special detail revolving fund dated December 20th, 2022, in the amount of $27,502.74.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Move to sign the emergency management revolving fund dated December 20th, 2022, in the amount of $941.94.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Move to sign the inspector's fee revolving fund dated December 20th, 2022, in the amount of $13,402.95.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Move to sign the uniform fire watch revolving fund dated December 20th, 2022, in the amount of $81.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Move to sign payroll manifest for pay period December 4th through the 17th, 2022, with a pay date of December 20th, 2022. Total payroll is $79,138.74, which includes $456.75 ARPA administrative cost.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, as for the minutes, move to accept the non-public and public minutes dated December 6th, December 12th, and December 15th, 2022, as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, any,
Yes. I'm thinking about the fire chief's requisition here for the
Yeah.
two.
yep,
Can we just make a motion to sign this requisition? This is for the radios?
yeah, that we, go ahead.
Yeah, for the radios. So I'm thinking Bob would want to make a motion to sign requisition 1055 for two radios with installation for the Tahoe.
So are you saying whatever motion we had before, we needed more detail?
Yeah, we have the requisition now.
Now we
Okay,
gotta
so
the
do we
rest.
want to strike the other motion, or do we need both?
Yeah, no, I think we can.
You need both, Mr. Chairman.
Need
Well,
both,
I,
okay.
well, I think we can, yeah, we need both.
One was to encumber,
Right.
this one is, okay.
And so this one, you're going to sign the requisition and it'll say encumber the funds from 2020 from the fire department.
As stated.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Second.
I'll fix it up the way it should be.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Anything else?
Good thing I
So-
saw that.
All right, so it's December 20th, so this will be our last meeting of the year. We thank everybody
Oh,
for,
did you do the minutes?
we did, yeah.
Yes.
Yep,
Oh, where was I?
sitting right there. You were doing good.
I was doing this.
Yeah.
They need to see that. It's first item.
So we thank everybody for their attention and their service and this year, and we wish everybody a happy holidays and safe and happy holidays. And January 3rd, we'll be back here. So
Yep,
thanks, everybody. Enjoy it.
thank you.
Have a
Enjoy
good
the
evening.
holidays. Happy holidays.